In 1998, I raised my hand and swore an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I was active duty Air Force. Tim Walz was National Guard. Now, what's happening right now with all this talk about stolen valor, I think represents the reality that there's a massive movement on the right wing that does not care about our troops. This makes it very, very clear. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about our troops. The way that this is made clear is that JD Vance served in the military. And as far as I know, he was discharged honorably, which means he served with honor. So even though I don't like JD Vance, I have a lot of problems with him and many things that he says. I have problems with Donald Trump, who he's running with. You know, I remember doing tech school in the military, walking the halls, and we had a lot of posters with things like honor, respect, right? A big thing that was taught to us is to be honorable, right? And the idea of a veteran who swore an oath to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, you're making the ultimate sacrifice, because part of that oath involves following orders. And those orders might be sending you on a suicide mission, for example. Point is that when you're signing up for the military, you're signing up and saying and declaring that you are willing to give your life for your country. This is the ultimate sacrifice. You want to talk about giving back and loving your country and serving your country? This is something that all honorable or honorably discharged veterans have done. Now, the only way that a group of people would even entertain going after a veteran for something that was not officially declared. So it's one thing if a veteran was dishonorably discharged. So the military has declared that they have been unfaithful, they failed to meet their oath, or they did something that was inappropriate by the UCMJ. The bottom line is, you would have to really have no integrity or no respect whatsoever for the troops for you to even entertain the idea of going after a veteran who was honorably discharged, especially not one who served 24 years. Now, I was active duty, I wasn't National Guard, but my understanding of National Guard, I think they do 8-year terms. So this guy had done more than twice what was required. For 2 decades, over 2 decades, he was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for his country, to give his life to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Only a person of no integrity whatsoever, no respect for the troops whatsoever, could ever dare to try to even entertain challenging the military record of a veteran who served so long and did so honorably. Even if there was some slight thing, maybe he, even if, let's say, for example, he claimed that he was in combat and he wasn't in combat, even if he actually did that, his 24 years of service declaring to give his life, if necessary, for his country would vastly overshadow any one time where he might have said something that might have been slightly inaccurate. Right? And especially for another veteran who knows what it means to make the oath that we all make. For another veteran to go after another veteran honorably discharged. That just shows you JD Vance is a dishonorable. He has no honor whatsoever. Do you recognize that I can't stand JD Vance? I have lots of problems with him, but I would dare not challenge his service. Not because I'm afraid to. Now, if he was dishonorably discharged, trust me, I would gladly go after him and call him out. But the fact that JD Vance was honorably discharged, and the fact that I myself has honor, and I have integrity, and I respect our troops, There's no way that I would go after JD Vance for his career. I hear people talking about, whatever, and I won't even mention it. They'll talk about whatever he did, that what he did wasn't that serious. Listen, the oath that we all swear, whether you're a cook, a janitor, doesn't matter what your job is, whether you're enlisted or you were an officer, the oath that we all swear, I think, is worthy of honor and respect. So I won't even go after JD Vance. I'll go after him for everything else, but I refuse to touch his service to this country. I don't care what he did. He could have been a goddamn janitor. He could have been a writer. He could have done the manuals, right? Everyone who makes that oath and serves honorably, discharged honorably, especially those who serve 24 years. He did way more than he had to. He went above and beyond, right? He could have retired a long time ago and had amazing benefits. To look at someone who goes above and beyond and does more than twice what is required for the military to honorably discharge them. So the military is saying they served with honor. And then for another veteran to try to disparage him and go after him and say he said this and that and use terms like stolen valor. You're going to put a 24-year veteran, highest NCO rank, on the same level of someone who never was in the military, walking around with all kinds of patches that they did not earn, pretending to be a veteran and they're not. You're going to classify a legitimate 24-year veteran with that word? That shows that JD Vance has no honor. Will not comment on his service, but I will comment on his character. And I will comment on those that would vote for him and Donald Trump, on their character. If they really cared about our veterans, right? If the MAGA cared about our veterans who make the ultimate sacrifice for our country, JD Vance would be getting so attacked, more from the right than the left. They will be attacking him. How dare you go after someone who served with honor for 24 years? I mean, if Tim Walz is not worthy of respect for his service, then who is? If there was anything wrong with what Tim Walz did, he wouldn't have been discharged honorably. All you need to know is how long he was in and that he was discharged honorably. And bonus, the fact that, again, he went so far beyond his retirement. He could have retired long before he did. A lot of people go in and they serve and they're just in there for the GI Bill, for college. They're just in there for the benefits or whatever it is, or they want to travel, whatever it is, right? Do the bare minimum and get out. That's not Tim Walz. He's part of that small group of people, probably getting smaller by the day, who extended his service beyond what was required. And listen, here's the reality. From what I've been told, he didn't jump out because of, the potential deployment. But even if he did, he had a right to. He did more than enough. And it's kind of insulting. Do you have any idea how much money we put in the military, how big our military is? No disrespect to Tim Walz, but they don't need him, right? I know the Army, they like to talk about the Army of one, but they don't need Tim Walz. There are many other people who have the skills and training that he had. So him retiring, it's not like, oh my goodness, now we can't go to get deployed or the troops are going to die because of it. No. There were other people there that are able to do the job that he did. Tim Walz was one of many. So, again, after serving 24 years, even if he knew the deployment was coming up and he's having a child and he's thinking about serving the military in another way through politics, and he says, no, I don't want to get deployed. I'm going to retire. Even if he did that. Stolen valor? Get the fuck out of here, man. If I were him at that age, serving that amount of time, having a kid, and I got other things that I want to do with my life, I would, with no hesitation, retire. Specifically because I don't want to be deployed. Because I did my time. And then I came back for more. I did well above and beyond what was required of me. So I earned my retirement. Everyone chooses when they want to retire. And if I want to choose to retire now, I earned that at 24 years. You're going to tell me I can't retire? I can't say I don't want to go to war now? The military had me for 24 years on a voluntary basis. Because obviously, initially, he made a commitment for a certain period of time. I believe it was 8 years for National Guard. But at some point in time, he re-enlisted. So he voluntarily said, I'm going to go longer and serve my country even more. So when he passes his required time and he says he's eligible for retirement, he's like, I'm going to retire now. Whether he does it not knowing he's about to get deployed or knowing he's about to get deployed, he earns it. The United States military is not a cult. It's not something you sign up and then it's for life. I mean, I think all of us, to some degree, there's something that remains within us for life. I mean, to this day, I always wear my dog tags, right? I mean, this is supposed to identify my dead body on the battlefield, and I did not serve in combat. But that's the purpose of this. There's really no need for me to wear this. I don't wear it usually on the outside of my shirt, so I'm not trying to, I'm a veteran, right? The fact that I'm always wearing this doesn't come off my body, is a representation of that part of us, all of us that take the oath, that is for life. But the actual being in the service is not for life. Once you serve your required term, you can be out. Or you could be like Tim Walz and you could say, I want to serve even more. But once you've done that, above and beyond, and retirement age comes, it is 100% your right to decide when you will retire. And if you want to evade being deployed for combat after 24 years, how many years do you think you have to serve before you earn that right? 30 years? 40 years? Of course, we're having a ridiculous conversation. The reality is, again, JD Vance and those that support him don't care about our troops, don't care about our veterans, which is why JD Vance can make such a dishonorable comment and not be absolutely destroyed by MAGA. Because MAGA doesn't care about our troops. They don't care about our police. January 6th. All they care about is Trump. It's a cult. And for those veterans who are joining in and going after Tim Walz, you are also part of a cult. I think that's the only thing that can make you betray a brother in arms. And I say that knowing that he did not serve in combat like me. I didn't as well. But all of us who make that oath, we know we are all brothers in arms, brothers and sisters in arms. We all make that ultimate sacrifice. We all make that pledge, that oath. And only the most dishonorable people or members of a cult would ever dare challenge an honorably discharged 24-year veteran. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Disgusting.